Hello my fellow pilots, and welcome again to another episode of Star Citizen FM. My name is Dr. Hawk. I'll be walking you through a few of the things happening around the Star Citizen community and the world as a whole. Right off the bat, I'd actually like to mention again, thank you very much all for my new subscribers and those following me. Your support is much appreciated, and I hopefully can entertain you for the coming episodes and months as we wait for Star Citizen to be released. I also want to thank you all for your support in the recent show change. As some of you are aware, I have recently changed up my schedule, so to speak, and no longer recapping Wingman's Hangar. However, with that being said, I highly encourage you to check out the latest episode, episode 24, on the Cloud Imperium Games forums. Another quick note to mention, I am trying to get the external links for YouTube working once more, but at the current moment I am having troubles. However, with that out of the way, let's go over a quick recap of what we'll be talking about. We have the fan spotlight that'll be coming up. I'll be pointing you guys in the same direction that both the fan spotlight on RSI is talked about, as well as Exile Scripio. There was an RSI museum video that contained a recap of Strike Commander, or rather, sort of a look back in the past. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Xbox One. I know we are PC gamers here, the majority of us are, but I am one of those weird omni gamers that, does both. And it's always fun to talk about a little bit of, controversy. Also, another interesting tidbit that had come up, Interplay has purchased Freespace, or at least the IP, from THQ and Volition, and we'll be going over that and what it could possibly mean for the industry later. As well, E3 is ramping up. It is June 11th to the 13th, and if you don't have tickets there and don't have any recordings from it, I'll be very upset. But with that being said, I'll be going over a little bit of E3, what to look out for, and maybe what I'm looking out for. But back to the subject at hand. As mentioned previously, Wingman's Hangar episode 24 is now out. If you have missed this on Friday, you can easily view it on YouTube or on the comlink on the RSI website. There's a link in the description below. Click it if you would like to watch it. And I, again, as always, suggest you do. And go give Wingman some encouragement for his weight loss. There's also a fan spotlight. Actually, some of you have already seen my second interview with Chris Roberts. Again, I'd like to make a shout out to CCC Dober for allowing me that opportunity. That was, quite something. Talking once, that's cool. Talking twice, I'm gonna have to start selling my kidneys to make up for this, So again, thank you very much. If you guys are interested in checking out that interview, there is a link in the description to the original video below. Me and Chris got a good conversation, and he's a very down-to-earth guy, and just highly suggest you check that out. Very fun interview, and it was a pleasure as always to talk to Chris Roberts. As some of you may or may not know, there is a fan fiction and fan art forum subcategory in the RSI forums. If you would like to be able to check out some of the amazing creations that some of our community has been creating, I highly suggest you do it. The three pieces that were spotlighted by RSI themselves were Tembarone and the Shifty Beetle, Give Me Liberty, and Flights of Fancy. All three stories that you can check out in the forums below in the YouTube description. As well, I've also previously mentioned Exile's Scripio. I always say that instead of the real one, Scipio. I was going to interview him today, but I do believe he is feeling slightly under the weather, so do be sure to send that man some chicken soup when you have the opportunity. And as always, every Saturday you can look forward to listening to Blue Horizon Radio. You can check them out at their main homepage that should be shown above, or you can go and listen to them directly on Saturdays when they broadcast. I unfortunately missed your last broadcast, guys. I'm sorry. I was dealing with something of a family emergency. A good emergency, but emergency nonetheless. But however, check out Blue Horizon Radio and tell them that Dr. Hawk sent you. Oh, and as mentioned previously, in the RSI Museum, there is a video with Chris Roberts and Rob Irving talking about Strike Commander. Again, another game that I really need to catch up on. You can check out this video as Rob Irving and Chris go over Strike Commander, and honestly, now looking at it, I should play it, as back when I was a young kid, I was playing X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, Falcon, A-10, basically anything that had either space or flight, so the fact I missed this, I'm just starting to wonder where my childhood was. Another interesting point to make is that this video series is also going to tie into how it's going to bleed over into Star Citizen. So if you'd like to see what influenced Chris to make Star Citizen, and what we might expect to see through previous works, I highly suggest you check out the whole video. It's a very thorough breakdown of Strike Commander and what we might see in Star Citizen. Also, if you actually are interested in playing Strike Commander, and I know I am, so I'm probably going to have to go buy this after I make this episode, digital copies of Strike Commander are available on GOG.com, so go ahead and go spend some money. It's the weekend. You should be spending your money anyway. That actually sort of sums up what I wanted to talk about in the CIG community. I know it's rather short, and again, as always, clans, fans, community members, if you would like to jump on the show and have a little Hawk view, we can, shoot the shit and talk about issues that might be surrounding the, citizen community, so to speak. Feel free to let me know. In the meantime, I actually did want to go over some other industry news. Now, I know mentioning an Xbox here might cause some of you to just, keel over and die. But let's not exactly just jump to that right yet. The Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo market do cover a large portion of the games industry. As such, any endeavors or things they do will impact the PC citizens in some way, be it small or large. Now, some of you already know about Xbox One. This is Microsoft's new flagship console, the replacement for the Xbox 360, which has had about an 8-year cycle time. That is a very long time for any console to be, going. The original Xbox didn't even last that long. In fact, that's pretty much trying... that's like me with my laptop right now, trying to play stuff, and you guys laughing at me on my live streams because the frame rate sucks. Which will be addressed eventually, trust me. Regardless, Microsoft has pretty much been digging themselves a grave. Well, I'm not going to actually really say anything really negative or positive, since I'm sort of on the fence with both of them. There are interesting points for those of you that don't already know. The main points that are taken away that most people are fighting over or stabbing at each other are based around its use games policy and connectivity. So let us start with, the first issue. The console must connect to the internet once every 24 hours in order for you to play games. For many people, from military personnel to students, that's actually an inconvenience. Even Exile, what if he's off at the base or something? In fact, even impossible. I live in the city now, it's not so much an issue internet, but I did grow up in the country, and there are times where people might not actually have a steady internet connection. Most people who get an Xbox One, as I mentioned, they're not going to have a problem. But for those customers who are not going to have proper, internet service, Microsoft's kind of shafting them already, and a lot of people are taken aback by that. That's just one point. The other issue is, apparently, Xbox One will allow sale of used games. So you'll be able to use games, everything, GameStop's happy, etc. With a caveat. Only at participating retailers. Retailers, big ones, especially EA, Activision, etc., have been trying to kill used games forever. This is where we're getting online passes and activation keys, etc. This is the whole point of counteracting the used games industry. They don't like it. They lose money off that, and GameStop makes, or whatever company makes profit on that. So by saying that participating retailers are going to allow used games, is that even going to happen? That almost just... Microsoft's not really taking the blame, but at the same time they're not making the situation any better, and then knowing some of those publishers, they're probably going to clamp down on used sales right away. The third thing that I think people are trying to worry about, or rather are, is the restrictions based on giving or loaning games. You'll be able to do this, however, for example, you have to be a friend for 30 days. You will only be able to do it once. So basically, the days of actually having physical copies, sharing your games, you will be able to do that, but heavily monitored, or you can't. Not yet too sure. There's other points I could keep going on, but given that I know most of you are PC gamers, the main point that I'm coming away with this is I'm sort of worried to see how the industry would take this. We are very lucky to be with Chris Roberts and company. Then they're trying to do their own thing and be different and not exactly follow the same route. But given that the Xbox and there's a much larger market out there, it's worrying to see where this is going to go. On the flip side, Steam is pretty much exactly what Microsoft is trying to do, and I can see that. And Steam works very well. You can't really, have used games or anything of that, and it's pretty much the same package. But I think they're doing it in, their presentation is off. They aren't exactly doing it as smooth as it could be. Steam already has it well established, and then look at EA. Even they try to do Origin. Nobody likes Origin. Nobody I know living, that is, or sane. And I think now everybody is trying to get on this big slice of pie that Gabe and everybody else is sitting on, but trying to throw their own spin on it, and hence we now have Xbox One. The only thing I can say really is that at the same time, the PlayStation 4, as far as all I'm concerned, and Sony, they haven't exactly said anything from their perspective as to what their machine will do. In fact, I remember the reveal, nobody even saw the machine. In fact, they're probably just sitting there, oh, hey, don't say this. Oh, people don't like that. Don't do that. Ooh, maybe we shouldn't talk about that. I have a strong feeling that they're probably having a field day watching Microsoft too. So what remains to be seen through all this, we don't know. Microsoft might come around and smarten up. Until then, don't know how it'll impact everyone regarding the console gamers, and for PC gamers, I'm pretty sure majority of us are just sitting there, face palming. I'm actually very happy I'm starting to consider, PC gaming more and trying to build my own rig, because while I will likely adopt an Xbox One myself, I like my Halo, I like Call of Duty every now and then, I can't see myself actually justifying a purchase in the meantime, as where I could do everything I need to and play Star Citizen and do pretty much everything else. So we'll probably see what comes up in the future at E3 when Microsoft tries to come back and lick their wounds. Also, as mentioned previously, Interplay Entertainment has managed to reacquire Freespace for about $7,500. This is coming from the THQ liquidation that some of you are familiar with. Happened not too long ago, actually. So what this means for the franchise itself, who knows, we might actually see more sequels, could have more space games on the horizon, and that would not be a bad thing. You'd have different flavors, Star Citizen here, Freespace there, and actually now thinking about it, I probably really should go on GOG and start picking up some of these old games. I have Wing Commander 1 and 2. Just have to get DOSBox working and see if I can get those working. So keep an eye out for something related to Freespace. It's good to see that space sims, or at least their property, so to speak, are gathering interest once again. And as mentioned, E3 is ramping up, so if you have tickets to go there, please do share videos. Share them on the Star Citizen website. Show us what the other companies are doing, what might be showing. In fact, the latest things to be leaked or shown, there's a new Thief game coming out. I don't know who around there played Thief. I know as a kid I wanted to, never got around to doing it. Probably should now, given that the trailer looks pretty badass, as well as a few Battlefield 4 leaked photos. Actually, quite a few. Mostly a mess. They're all alpha pixels. Well, they are pixels. Pictures, untextured buildings, untextured environments, etc. But It does show off some gameplay mechanics and new things, so if you're a Battlefield fan, check it out. If you don't like Battlefield, you don't have to, and if you just don't like EA or care for it, then there you go. This is entirely irrelevant. But again, all related to E3, so I will probably try to cover some of that in the next episode, or if it's something really worthy of note, I might do a special episode, especially if it might be something related to games. Well, who knows? So that pretty much wraps up my episode for this week. I apologize that it's short, but sometimes a little sip of whiskey is better than a whole downing of vodka. And given that news is sort of slow right now until we have something coming up, I don't have much to go on. However, I will be around for the 24-hour live stream. As mentioned before, mark this down your calendars, guys. This is June 28th to June 29th. And I'm pretty sure, yep, I got that correctly. It'll begin with the regular airing of Wingman's Hangar, and it will continue on through the next day. So get your shenanigans my words are failing me. Get your shenanigans together. Get everything you need for, Red Bull, caffeine, booze, and get ready to have some fun. I know I took off work. So I will see you guys next week, and I look forward to a potential interview I may have. So you guys all take care and fly safe. This is Dr. Hawk signing off. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the show, I ask that you please subscribe by clicking the fuzzy hawk on the lower left corner. If you liked the video, please consider pressing the like button or adding it to your favorites. If you have any feedback for me, both positive or negative, feel free to add it to the comments below or on the forums.